Hey there. Oh, let's get you in there. Hey, it's Nafisa and Karla here on the Monday Money Show. We got to squeeze in a little bit. We're here live from the Ritz-Carlton in Dove Mountain, so let us know who you are and where you're calling from. Glad to have you here, and if you're not following me, I'd love it if you would just follow along and show us some love in this broadcast today and give us some hearts.
Tap on the screen.
Tap on the screen, give us some hearts. And we'd love you to share this broadcast, because today we're speaking about a topic that's really dear and near to our hearts, net millionaires.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So every Monday I come and I bring you guys tips on money making and money mindset and how to create the money part of your business. And today Karla and I are here to talk a little bit about becoming a net millionaire, and we also have an announcement for you at the end of the show. So we've had to put the camera back a little bit back to be able to get both of us in there. So
we're trying.
So we're trying to see the chat. So if we don't see you, please forgive us. But we're going to try to. Hi, Jasmine. Hi,
Jasmine.
Tracy. I see both of you guys are there. Hi, Isabel.
That's right, Isabel. Just tap the screen.
Tap the screen, and you can get the hearts. So let's talk a little bit about why we love this subject about net millionaires before we get into the secrets.
Well, I think that, I mean, the reason, this scope and this specific scope is for those people who have a big vision. Those people who really have, they've seen themselves in a certain way, and they have a business, or they have an idea for a business, and the whole thing around it and the whole motivation is freedom, is more time freedom, and more freedom for your lifestyle and the lifestyle that you want to lead, but not short term and not for now. And I think that's what we're focusing on. And one of the things that we both share is a passion about educating people and helping them and indoctrinating them, and not just focusing on how they're generating income, not just focusing on how they're going to generate income right now, but how they're going to accumulate wealth and how they're really going to set themselves up. And there's a huge difference, right?
Between income and wealth, because yes, long-term lifestyle, absolutely.
Exactly.
Tracy, and that's what we're really passionate about. And Karla and I, we've known each other for a few years, and this is something we share in common, because we do sometimes see a lot of emphasis placed on building a six-figure business or a seven-figure business, and while that sounds really great on the surface, it doesn't necessarily really get into what's actually going on, what the entrepreneur actually gets to take home, and what they're actually building for their wealth. And so, all right, we got to block somebody here. Hold on a second. All right. So that's why we wanted to get together and talk about this a little bit today. And we've worked with a lot of people in our time, and and we've taken the time also in our lives to make sure that we've built ourselves not just successful businesses, but our financial security and stability underneath that underlies that. So we want to talk today about a few of the secrets that we call them net millionaires, because those are people that are actually worth over $1 million. That it's not just income coming in, but if you subtract what they owe from what they own, there's at least $1 million left there. So
yeah, and really, I'd say it's a daily topic of conversation for us, right?
Constantly.
I mean, one of the things that we've noticed is, the internet, we love the internet, and you love the internet, I'm sure. I mean, what it's done for us. That's right. And what it's done, for so many of us.
No, we're not based out of Toronto.
No. Yeah. And what it's done for so many of us is, it's helped us to really expand our businesses, right? And so, but the challenge that we see over and over and over, especially with those who are marketing how to generate large income and how to create a seven-figure revenue business,
or a seven-figure lifestyle.
Or a seven-figure lifestyle. Well, the problem with the seven-figure lifestyle is that if you're earning six figures, you're going to be in trouble very quickly.
Very quickly. Yeah.
And if you're generating seven figures in your revenue in your business, but you are netting six figures, you're going to be in trouble very quickly.
And also, one of the things that that when you build up a secure business is putting in that foundation, right, through dips and valleys, because, you know, income isn't stable every month when you're an entrepreneur. You're not taking home a corporate paycheck. And so part of what we're passionate about is building that stability so that if an income stream just dries up or something changes in the economy and there's a little dip, you're not really affected. I mean, you can be, but it doesn't have like permanent or detrimental effect on you.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, one of the inherent characteristics of being an entrepreneur and having your own business is
Please share this if you're getting value in it.
Yes, that's right.
And give us some more hearts.
Tap the screen if you're liking this. Especially if you want to be a net millionaire, not a seven-figure earner.
But if you want to be a net millionaire, show us some love.
Exactly.
Awesome. Look at all those hearts.
Exactly. And I think this is resonating with people because, I mean, we've talked to a few people, and whenever we've mentioned this, they love it. They love this message because they know that is one of the missing links.
Hi from Sweden. Awesome to have you here.
That's one of the missing links, you know, is having that focus, not just on the income earner. Is it important? Of course. We focus on that. Definitely we focus on that. But it's not just about developing those skills.
Tracy's asking, what did you mean when you said you'd be in trouble netting six figures? Oh, Tracy, she was saying if you're living a seven-figure lifestyle, but you're netting six figures, you're in trouble. So if you're spending based on your top-line income and your personal income is six figures, yeah. And we see a lot of that happening.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the secrets.
Let's talk about that.
And there's many of them, but let's just share a couple of them.
A few that we talked about before. So what was the first one we talked was?
So, and they're non-specific order, but let's talk a little bit about leveraging time.
Yes, that's a big one. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the first thing is knowing the value of your time.
Yeah.
And what comes with that is what you're doing, right? Because what is the activities that you are focusing on?
And you need to come more on the screen.
Yeah, you want the activities that you're focusing on that have to do with, you know, and with your business and with your life period. And what are those activities worth? Should you be the one doing them?
Exactly. And, you know, it was just one thing when we were making our notes up for the show today. It was just a small little thing like, you know, net millionaires don't go and do coffee dates, right? They value their time and they leverage their time and they try to talk to as many people as they can at once. I mean, that's why we love Periscope, because we can have a virtual coffee with everybody together at once and communicate. So it's knowing what that value of your time is, and a lot of things come up in your business, and sometimes it can be really difficult to make that decision and say, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to hire somebody at $25 an hour to do this, and it can hurt in the beginning. But if you're doing $25 an hour jobs, guess what you're going to be earning? $25 an hour, right?
Exactly.
We still have more people coming in.
And sometimes we're doing this stuff because we actually are good at it, but we're not great at it. And what I mean by not great at it, or, you know what, there's some things I am great at, but I'm not going to do them, because if I do them, again, I have to put a dollar amount next to it. And I may be very good at them and I may be able to do it great, but there are other things in my business that are my zone of genius that if I don't do them, we're not going to be generating that type of income.
Exactly, right? So, I mean, and that's a key one, is just getting that time piece straight and being really comfortable with delegating. And if you're not good at something, just don't even try. You know, that's hard to do, but it is a really smart thing to do, Isabel. And I'm going to give an example here. I mean, those of you who've known me and been in my world know I used to be a designated accountant. I don't do my own books because even though I'm good at it and I can do it, it's not the most effective use of my time. I have people that can do that for me, and I actually don't like it, even though I'm good at it. So they're actually faster at it. So even that saves time and money. So that's a big one.
Yeah, and along the lines of net millionaires understanding how to leverage their time, it's about delegating. It's about pricing your services and products correctly. It's also about how do I put this in the nicest term possible? Okay, so one of the things that we've noticed is that when someone isn't leveraging their time correctly, they're not leveraging their network correctly. Okay.
Exactly.
And what I mean by that is that sometimes there's a lot of things that can creep up to a person, and some of self-sabotaging behaviors that'll creep up. And instead of leveraging their network and leveraging their time by actually aligning themselves with partners, then they are not really leveraging their business and their talent. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, because if when you want to be partnered with other people, there's people that can bring value to your business and do things that you're not necessarily genius at either, right?
Correct.
And together, you're usually a lot stronger than one, and we can't be a jack of all trades, and it doesn't so much get down to niching as it is, well, I guess it does get a little bit into niching, right? A little bit. But, if there's something that you can offer in your business, but you're not that good at it, you could probably make more money if you brought in an expert to do that. Like, for instance, for me, if I was going to help my clients with social media, I can help them because I have a great social media campaign going, but I'm going to refer them to somebody like Tracy who can do a much better job and do it better, because that's not my zone of genius, right? So it's having those referrals and those partnerships that can help, where you can help each other create more income, right, in your business, and knowing that too. So
yeah, and I mean, we have, for example, we have Isabel on this scope, and one of the things about her is that I've known is that she's the type of person that's all about collaboration. She knows how to leverage her network. Yeah. There's people that are too concerned about competition, and they view things from that perspective, and it ends up limiting them, and they don't leverage their network in a way that they can, because they could be partnering with someone who is very influential in in their business, in their market. And even if you have, I mean, Nafisa and I have similar some of the similar trainings and skill set, but in the way that we do it just complements each other in such a way that the person, it ends up in a win-win, because we can partner up in something, and we can obviously both benefit and leverage from each other's talents and skills. But not only that, the person now has all the vast experience at their as a resource that they normally would not have access to, that combined resource. So that's another way to leverage your network, and to actually make yourself more value to your market and to your community and your tribe. Go ahead.
I was trying to see. Oh, thank you. I was just looking at the comments there. So
yes. Now, one of the things also, as far as leveraging your time, has a lot to do with the way your business is designed and your business model. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. We're going through this. For those of you who do know me a little bit, we have 2 businesses in our home, and we're just expanding into a 3rd. And for us to continue growing, I mean, we have to really understand what kind of business we want, right? My husband and I, we like to travel, so this gets down to a scope I did a few weeks ago of putting in your non-negotiables, because some business models are going to have you needing to go into a brick and mortar place every day, being actively involved, and some people really enjoy that. I personally don't. I like my freedom. So you need to be really clear on what kind of life it is you want to have. Do you want to be a homebody? Do you want to travel? Do you want to work at night? Like, what are your times and what are your strengths? And so you create a business model that fits that, so that you're living the life you want to live. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to create a business model. Some people, they just want to be a freelancer, and they can make a lot of money doing that. Others want to leverage team and time, right? So you really have to know what it is you ultimately want to be doing with your day, and then build the business around that, not the other way around, because you'll be miserable if you're trying to fit your life into a business that just happened around you.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, there's only a certain number. I mean, we were talking U.S. dollars. There's only 100 pennies in a dollar. Yeah. Right. And so I don't know how to make that be any different. Yeah. it is what it is. So the numbers don't lie. And one of the mistakes I see people do all the time is thinking that they're going to become a net millionaire when their pricing, for example, or their business model that they're trying to design would require quite a bit of volume because of the pricing or with the type of products or services that they offer. So unless you have pent-up demand and you have business partners, you have a large network of people that are going to be referring your services or products. I mean, I've done it. We've done it. And we have that, but we have over 600 affiliates, sometimes 1,000 affiliates promoting something, and so you're talking about mass distribution. Now, if you're set up for that, wonderful. If not, then you need to look at your business model, and you need to look then how to price it. Then you probably need to design some products or services and position them in a certain way. And then you need to make sure that you're positioning them correctly. Now, if you want to talk about positioning, then you might want to check out Nafisa's program that she's actually launching, because that's
Yeah,
the one thing you need to do
yeah,
is brand it correctly.
Yeah, I'm launching my Brand Brilliance program. It's a group workshop that gives you a really solid foundation on how to position yourself. Are you going to get some light on behind us, Karla? Yeah, we're losing our light. We have a couple of more points, and we have a really exciting announcement we want to make, so we may have to wrap it up if we can't get some light on. But hi, Maria. You're working late. Thanks for joining. So yeah, when you want to position yourself, you want to get really clear on who it is you are and get yourself known in the market. And so that's what Karla was talking about. I am doing my Brand Brilliance program, and I would love to have you join me in that. It's going to be an awesome morning. Oh, we have light. This girl, this is why I love partnering with her. She has a solution to everything. And I'd love to have you join me in that.
Did that work?
Yeah, it worked great. So, all right, so we're going to go on to our next point a little bit here. We talked a bit about positioning. I just did my shameless plug.
Well, I heard
but
it.
I had to do
It's
that.
necessary.
Do you have a link to the program? Yes, if you go to brandbrillianceworkshop.com, you'll find that. Maria, you're on the chat. Do you mind just typing in the URL, and then people can screenshot that so they have it? So that would be great. Thanks, Jasmine. Your mom is awesome. Getting me right there.
So, just a quick thing on the, yes, I'm doing the scope thing with the hair.
Yeah,
Yes,
your
I
hair
am.
looks beautiful.
I'm doing
We've
it.
been on flights since like the crack of dawn, so please forgive our appearance.
So, as far as, I'm going to go back real quick to your program,
Sure.
and I want to give a testimonial for you, because
Okay. Thank you.
yes, I'm picky about branding. It's one of the things that I'm most passionate about. Some of the biggest success stories that we've had in our businesses, my husband and I, have been because we've been able to package, brand, and position correctly in certain markets, in certain niches. And it's all about branding. And so I'm very particular about who I work with as far as designers and just marketing specialists and things like that. So when it came to recently designing a brand that has more to do with designing a brand that is more centered around me, Karla Denise, I had it on pause for a little while. I'm going to be very transparent here. I had it quite a bit on I had it on pause for quite a while because I was very stuck. But I had to really search within me to really bring forth what some of those things were and what I wanted to project with this brand and how I wanted to develop it. And I was very stuck. And the only person that was able to help me work through some of that stuff is Nafisa. And for me to actually look for outside help for branding is huge, because there's no one I could really feel I could trust about that would get what I mean. And it's because she also understands the importance of it, and she's able to draw into my blind spots and your blind spots, to draw from there to really help you identify what those are, and to be able to identify what your strengths are so that you can lead with that in your branding, in your messaging. And I can tell you the difference that it's made for our business to have the proper marketing language all comes from the root of what you're branding, how you set up your branding, and how you discover what you really need to be branding in your strengths. So anyway, you want to look
Thanks,
that
Liz.
up. That's right. Liz
Thank
did
you,
that
Liz.
too.
Liz did it too.
You
We had a
know
great
it.
day.
Exactly. So
my
anyway,
favorite word.
so that's my testimonial. It's impromptu. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I can tell you that you're going to be in great hands if you work with Nafisa with that. You'll feel the shift internally, and you'll
Hello
start
from Italy.
communicating, and you'll be able to start communicating in a very powerful way with your prospective clients. Anyway,
Okay.
so let's
Thank
get
you,
to
Karla. Let's go back to Net Millionaires.
So back to Net Millionaires.
See, talk about leveraging your network. We just did a great example right
That's
there.
right. So the other thing is, there's many secrets, but one we want to talk about today is about leveraging your money.
Yeah.
And there's one of the biggest mistakes that we see over and over and over in business in general is that people do not learn how to leverage their money properly, and they're focusing on income creating and not on wealth accumulation. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about that, Nafisa.
Let's talk a little bit about that. This has sort of been one of the bees in my bonnet, and Karla and I talk about this daily. It's so important to create the income. I mean, obviously the income is what brings the money in. like it costs money to make money. There's always a cost or a machine underneath that. That's why I talk a lot about profitability. But then there's also what you keep and what you take home and what you don't spend. And I think some of the trends we've seen, and I always like to say that, wealth consciousness is a really interesting word that's being thrown around today. And if you examine what the word consciousness means, it means awareness. It means being aware. So wealth consciousness...
I was about to tap on the
you were
screen.
You were going to give me hearts? Oh, I love her. So when you're aware of something, you know how to do something. So wealth consciousness is being aware and knowing how to build your wealth. It is not spend consciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
And now that doesn't mean making decisions from a place of lack or scarcity or denying yourself something because,
we are not about that.
No, you've seen our Facebook pages. We're not about that. But at the same time, we also strongly believe in always looking forward to the future. So, and this is kind of gets into the part about using your money properly, is really understanding the difference between debt and credit. And net millionaires, we stay out of debt. We don't accumulate debt, but we know how to leverage the hell out of credit.
That's right.
And those are two different things. I always say, I wrote a blog about this about a year ago where I described that debt is when you sacrifice your future to indulge what you want right now. So whether it's that pair of shoes or that vacation or that upgrade and you don't have the cash, that's not operating from a place of abundance. That's operating from a place of instant gratification. Credit is when you can see that future vision and you're going to build that vision, whether you're going to invest in school or learning or mentoring. I have to throw that in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But or getting in a new building that you can go into, or marketing dollars. That's an investment in your business, and sometimes you don't have the cash handy and you need to borrow it. Well, that is not allowing your current circumstances to limit your future. So net millionaires know the difference between those two, and I think really understanding how money works so that you can build up that wealth, because it's often been said that true financial freedom isn't the amount of money you have in your bank. And I agree with that, but hear me out here. It's true. True financial freedom is meaning that if you could lose it all tomorrow, that you can do it again and again and again, and that is financial freedom. However, what happens if you can't do it again? Not because of your skill or knowledge, but because you get sick, or you get injured, or there's a death in the family, or what if you get sued and your assets get frozen and you can't touch them, right? And you can't create more money. All these things can happen. Now, if you don't have wealth accumulated to get you through these times, or something happens, then it's out of balance. Yes, you have the ability emotionally and intellectually and the skill set.
Yeah, and experience.
But it doesn't matter if you can't use those skills for whatever reason. So there needs to be a balance of creating that financial freedom and knowing how to create that income month after month after month, and also having a nest egg for what if you can't, and for your future. This is a very personal topic for me because I've seen this happen in my own family, and I'm going to be vulnerable here. The only things you have in your life are your body and your money. These are two things that if you don't take control of now, somebody else is going to be making very personal decisions for you later in your life. So building that wealth now is very important, along with your ability to keep generating that income. And that's something I am so passionate about, and I could soapbox it for all night, so I probably should stop.
Well, let me share a net millionaire tip.
Yes.
That's cool. Huh?
That's a good one. Yeah,
Just came
net
up with
millionaire tip. Yeah.
A net millionaire tip. Okay. When it comes to, and Nafisa just shared about the difference between generating income and accumulating wealth. And she's in the difference between credit and debt. Well, she used the word investment. And a quick game that you can play is the game of the speed of money. So when you look at it from that perspective, and you're looking at it as investment, and yeah, you're putting hearts already. That's right. It's the speed of money. So if it's an investment, then you need to be able to see be able to see. You know, these are visionary women on this call. I mean, on this scope.
Probably have some
and
men
men
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, these are people with vision. I know you have a vision. You have a large vision. That's why the word millionaire is calling to you. Well, if you are able to see, in the same way that you can see your vision, if you are able to see how you are, the tangible way of how you're going to have that return on investment. Now, of course, there's risk involved in business. There's always that. But if you can mitigate that risk by really planning out and being able to chart out how you're going to have that return on investment, how quickly am I going to get this money back, and how? Mm-hmm. How quickly am I going to get it back? What's the plan for me to get it back?
And
how much am I going to get?
How I do that?
Yes.
Because sometimes, you know, I don't necessarily believe in using my cash or savings for some of my business investments. I have this saying that says my cash flow matches my tax flow. So if I'm not going to get an immediate tax benefit out of something, and it's going to, because that's how the government looks at it, right? If you invest in something that's going to last for several years, then I'm not going to take my cash out either. I will borrow, because that way, because the interest is tax deductible. But what I look at when something comes up like that is I go, well, how much money do I want to make off this investment? And my general rule of thumb is I want a 10 to 1. That's what I want. So what I do is every time I get income, when I borrow money for something like that, 10% goes paid off right away. So I'm not focused on this credit that I've borrowed, because to me it's not debt, it's credit that I'm leveraging, and I focus on a 10%, 10 to 1 return. So when I focus on that money and I just put 10% to pay it off, it takes care of itself, because I'm focusing on the money.
Exactly. And then, and along the lines with leveraging your money is, you know, the other thing we just shared has to do with not being able to generate income. So if you can't generate income, you best believe your money better be able to generate some income for you. And so that's about that's a different type of investment. So those are the type of things that I don't see anyone talking about. And that is that's going to be the key. It's not just about, you know, you have your income generating years to fuel and fund what is going to be taking care of you later, when you are not going to be able to create active income. And so there's different types of income. There's active, there's passive, there's all sorts of types of income. And we want to start introducing that to all of you and making that a resource available to you with all that information.
Gotta block somebody here. Just pardon us a moment there.
So why are we sharing all this?
Why are we sharing all this? Well, before we completely lose all our light, you get in the picture here. This is a big announcement that so what was it? It was just after Christmas Day last year. We each took a picture of ourselves when the moment came up, but we have come up, we
will never share that picture.
No, we will never share that picture, because I think we were both cleaning. We decided to launch a networking group or a club that was specifically designed to bring like-minded people together who really want to explore this topic deeper, where it could provide networking opportunities, joint venture opportunities, training and learning opportunities. So consider this to be a little bit of a pre-launch or a pre-announcement. We don't have all the details coming out. They will in the next few months. But, you know, now that we've announced it, we have to make it happen. So that's how we do things.
It's accountability.
So we are going to launch
the Net Millionaires Club.
Club.
That's right. And it's about business,
wealth, and lifestyle.
And this is what we decided is that, you know, this has been the daily topic of conversation of the key things that we see missing, and as a resource that we would have loved to have.
High fives to everybody back.
And so that's right. High five, high five. And so we want to make that not just our combined experience and skills available, but also a ton of resources on those topics that we mentioned and many more. And we'll share some more details soon.
Yeah, we're running out of light now.
Yes.
But this has been an unusually long scope for the Monday Money Show. I usually keep them under 15 minutes, but we had a lot to talk about today.